I know it's dangerous. I know it mostly leads to death, early death.
Oh, me mama dey no kwase mini me nyi ba yie ni ahotutu na yare a bi ho a na ufa yafunu kura na utimi nya saa ya ayi uda yafunu mu utimi nya saa yare o awutwa no so ho enti me dey me nyi ni saa ahotutu na ye ba yi asem me mama yare a ewo
huhu asem dey e betimi aye possible because huhu am before that mutimi ta area.
My sibling and I, when we were children, we used to fall sick often, almost every day. So my dad took us to a spiritualist to give us this herbal mark for protection. But unfortunately, he died along the way. And my mom left us with our grandmother, and my mom traveled to Nigeria.
When we fall sick, our grandmother she will use rub on us to release the pain, then she will add herbal medications. Then along the line, my grandmother passed on. Then we were left with our relatives.
My name is Doris Benjamin. I'm 30 years old.
And I'm Jessica Benjamin. I'm 25 years old.
We have sickle cell disease.
Sickle cell disease has actually been with us for over 100 years now. Yet, there has been very little progress made in the area of implementing the needed interventions that can reduce its burden. The lack of the needed medical resources in Ghana influences the quality of life of affected individuals, especially those in deprived communities. This increases their chances of experiencing severe complications. People in society get to witness all that happens. What even makes it worse is when cultural and religious beliefs are used as explanations for the complications of sickle cell disease.
My elder sister Ellie fell very sick and she needed medical attention. Then our relatives said she's a witch, that they won't help her, they won't give her food, no water, not medicine until she confessed her sin. And we were all surrounded, me and my siblings surrounded my elder sister. We were begging them that they should take her to the hospital, but they never did. Later, they locked her up in an uncompleted building, saying that she is a witch, that until she confessed, no food, no water, no medicine for my sister. 2 days after, my elder sister died.
Then my mom came from Nigeria then to find out that her daughter is dead. So she was in pain and she said if her family could do such a thing to her children, it means we don't have any family again in this earth. So she took us to Nigeria.
A lot of people, especially in the rural communities, associate sickle cell disease with spiritual elements rather than medical. The nature, intensity, and frequency of the crisis of people with sickle cell disease is linked to witchcraft attacks or perceived as consequences of practicing witchcraft. Being stigmatized for a condition one has little or no control over could lead to some psychosocial problems like a low self-esteem of oneself, intense stress on how to deal with the stigmatization, anxieties, especially in anticipation to a crisis, a depressed mood, thought of suicide, among others.
So when we got to Nigeria, I felt very sick. Then my mom took me to the hospital. So that is when I was diagnosed of sickle cell disease, SS. Then the doctor tested my brother and my sister Doris, and them too, they were diagnosed of the same SS, sickle cell disease. So along the line, my mom passed on. We were left alone in Nigeria. Then the church we were attending, Daddy and me, our Sunday school teacher, he put us in the care of a church member. So we were there with the woman. She was having a restaurant. We help her out to prepare the food, everything. By the time that we finish, it's around 2 in the night. That is when we will sleep. So the next morning too, we need to get up maybe 4, 5 to get ready for the next food that they will sell before going to school.
And we don't have time to read. We don't have time to study. And most of the time, because of we have been having a lot of stressful day, so we always have crisis almost all the time. So along the line, when I was admitted in the hospital, so I couldn't write my exams. So I was repeated in school. So I have to fall out of school because of I couldn't stand going back. All the things my classmates were saying, and I have to repeat the class. So I didn't go back to school again.
In Ghana, there is a huge gap in awareness creation on sickle cell disease, especially in rural communities, and the provision of psychosocial interventions for people with sickle cell. The initiative taken by the International Sickle Cell Center, ISCC, and AirtelTigo in this direction to ensure a good quality of life for people with sickle cell disease is highly commendable.
So when our relative called us back to Ghana, then we wanted to come and continue our education here. So we told our aunties that we would love to go back to school because I want to become a lawyer. Then my auntie said that she cannot invest in us because we will soon die. She would rather invest in animals than to invest in us. It has not been easy because our aunties, they don't know anything about the sickle cell, so they think we are witches. All the time, they said that we are coming to waste their money, that we intentionally killed our mommy because of this sickness has come to kill all the family members. So the pastor now asked them to send me out of the house. So I was homeless. I wanted to go back to Nigeria because I don't have anybody in Ghana here.
Sadly, some people suffering with sickle cell disease face stigma and discrimination. And sometimes the irony is that they face the discrimination within their own family. All this because of the lack of general knowledge around the subject of sickle cell. Please don't label people with sickle cell disease. They need our love and empathy and not stigmatization. I am hopeful that this edition of AirtelTigo Touching Lives Sickle Cell Special in partnership with ISCC International Sickle Cell Center will bring about a positive change in the society in our behavior towards the people suffering from sickle cell.
If you have sickle cell disease, you can improve your mental health by surrounding yourself with people who love you and understand your condition. You can also seek help from a professional like a clinical psychologist who can help you cope better. Pain is the commonest complication of sickle cell disease, but the psychological trauma from stigmatization worsens the situation. Research has shown 1 in 3 people living with sickle cell disease experience depression. Sickle cell can be overwhelming. Let us not add to its burden. As a society, we need to learn more about sickle cell disease and show love to those who live with the condition. This can save innocent lives, and that is why the International Sickle Cell Center and AirtelTigo are pushing the Touching Lives initiative to educate the public about sickle cell. Be that light for a sickle cell warrior today.
This initiative is brought to you by the International Sickle Cell Center, ISCC, in partnership with AirtelTigo Touching Lives.
AirtelTigo. Life is simple.